Hi and welcome everybody. In this episode I will be diving into African grooves. As you know, I love African music and I want to share some hidden gems with you. And for the first album we go to 1974, released on the Jet Sounds Records, an album by Tony Edx. The official name is Tony Edx and the Sadico System Volume 1. And when you look at the cover, you already know you have something special. And that is what I want to share this time. There is so much music from West Africa, this one specific from Nigeria. There are influences from the West, but it is still so traditional and it shows the beauty of the traditional music. Especially what I like is the music, the UU music, that is derived, if I understand correctly, from Yoruba. Yoruba music is that high percussive music where you have the talking drums, and with the introduction of the electric guitar you kind of get a mix of UU music, AfroBeat music, and I don't know what the real official term of this music is. I only know it is hypnotizing, it is the sweeping guitars, the drums, the percussion, and that gives it a funky sound, something really nice. And I hope you enjoy it also, and I want to sample next because it is one long track, the second part of this song. I know very little about the artist I'm showing, and I tried to find on the web as much information as I could, but there's very little available. This artist of course needs no introduction. I think many of you recognize him, Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti only late in his career is recognized as really a founder of Afrobeat, African music, spreading the word about African music. And this album is from 1980, original Sufferhead, and it's no longer with the Egypt or the original 70s band, but Egypt 80 is his band on this one. And what I read is that the original band with Tony Allen, they just couldn't handle it anymore, and not so much all what was going on inside the band, but what was going on outside the band. Because still the government was pounding on Fela to stop with what he was doing. Because also on this album, Fela Kuti is really going against government and just asking, requesting general necessities like water, food, shelter that they needed, and that the government was still corrupt, was still going a different way. This album, recorded in 1981 I believe, was just after a second raid which almost killed him again. It's amazing how much energy Fela has and how much his music is still alive, because it's amazing. How many albums has he released? And although the output is so high and he did release so many albums, all of them are good. I mean, even the 80s, and although this is a different band, Egypt 80, I read somewhere that the music changed a little bit. Maybe it has, but it's still a tight band. The music is the same, the rhythms are there, there are horns, there's organ, as you can hear. The music is so fun, it's so good, and I must say the songs get longer and longer. If you collect Fela albums, you know that sometimes one side is one song and the other side is a second song. On this one it's even more extreme. The first side is one song and the first part of the second side is a continuation of the first song. It's just getting ridiculous, but the music is so good. Enjoy.
No day you did, where you go see them. They go, they come, they come, they go. He go bright, he gone. He go bright, he small. If he not go, he go come. If he not come, he go. No day.
For the next album we stay in 1980, but we move a little to the west. This is an album from Guinea, which is west of Nigeria, still West Africa, still the same sound. But it's fun to see the music that was created in this area. It's really special, and when you dive into it, it is so addictive that you just want more and more and more. This is the band 22 band with venez voir, which means come to see. So it says come to see the 22 band. Again, I select these albums on the covers because I don't know what I can expect. So you have to sample them, and then you take, of course, the covers, which is really typical for vinyl albums. The cover says all about the music, and the same is true for this one. On the back side, there's a really nice, one of the first times I see this explanation of the band and the music of the different songs. Unfortunately, it's all in French. So I used Google Translate and my camera of my phone to translate it a little bit. I don't know if the French is not really good, Google is not really good, or I'm not really good, because you get a translation from translation from translation. What I understand, they're a young band. They invite you over to come and see them, to listen to them, to play the record. I think this is their debut album. And this song, the first one on side B, is Muso la Tintani, which talks about the perfect woman. How she looks, how she walks, how she feels. The last song I want to sample, or the last song on this album, is Kawaroke Rebebe. I'm just making it up as I go along. The fun thing is, this is about a very, or that's what it says, it's about a very serious disease, scabies, which was maybe going around at that time, but they turn it around in a more humorous song. So they talk about scabies in the sense that the horns make you itch when you listen to the music. So if you feel any itch, it's probably the music you're listening to. And for the next album we go to Nigeria, back to Nigeria. We are 1977 and Dr. Orlando Owo, and what is the official name? Dr. Orlando and his Young Canaries band. Here you see, I love it when they put pictures from that time on the cover, on the back cover. It always gives a special vibe. You can almost feel the vibe of the musicians making this music. And Dr. Orlando Owo is famous for the twist he gave HighLife. HighLife is of course famous from Ghana and Nigeria. He gives it a nose twist, maybe a little bit more traditional, in the sense that there's more, he keeps it smaller, so the band is smaller. It is also, maybe a better way is he makes it more rootsier, so it is more to the ground. It grabs you in the sense that the drums, the talking drums, the guitar, his rootsy voice really makes it this special music and gives it its own twist. Most of the music is in his own language, from Nigeria. Sometimes he sings in English. Like Fela, he got into trouble with the lyrics, so he had a political sense to go against the establishment, not as big as Fela. Some of the songs are in English, the one I'm sampling now, and I sampled it because I think it is in a sense translating from Nigerian to English, and I love the sayings they do, because this one is called Everybody Paddle Your Own Canoe. And you don't know, if you heard it the first time, everybody paddle your own canoe, you already know what he's saying. You don't need an explanation. And also the music on this is magic. There is so much percussion, and the next sample I want to needle drop is really madness of percussion. And I think it is only a small part on the album, but in real life when they did a concert, I can imagine that it went on and on and on. For the next album, we stay in Nigeria. It is released in 1976. An album that is again touching the traditional music from Nigeria, this time more correlating to the Igbo traditional music. It is by Oliver de Cock and his Expo 1976, and the album is called Identity. And like previous albums, they really try to give the music their own sound, their own mix. And he gives it its own name, probably for marketing reasons, but it's called Ojin Sound, Super of Africa. And that is part of the translation of the style of music he tries to convey, because of course you have again the drums, which immediately with the guitar give a certain funkiness, but it goes deeper. It's real traditional Igbo music, and he puts on this album at least, some English lyrics. I think the music is too soft to hear it, but again the lyrics, the sayings in the lyrics are so much fun. This one says, "Cut your coat according to his size," and that's immediately an expression you can use, because I've never heard it before, but you know what he means by it. And that's what I love about these lyrics. When you delve deeper into them, it has these nice little nuggets. But it's, of course, it's all about the music. And the music, it is magic. So I'll leave you with this last sample. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Mama maleno, obolo mora nine, mama